Now with me to do the draw, we have Kevin McCarthy, Managing Director of the Garvey Group, Tim Murphy, Kerry GA Chairman, and Peter Twiss, Secretary of the County Committee. Guys, you're very welcome to Terrace Talk.
Thank you, Eamon.
Thanks, Eamon.
Tim, I suppose, look, I know we've chatted to you a lot over the past few weeks, but I suppose first and foremost, it's great that we're here and we're able to do a draw. Looking forward to some football and hurling.
Absolutely, Eamon. I think no one would ever have expected or anticipated anything like we've experienced over the last 14 or 15 weeks now, I suppose we're looking at. It's been an unprecedented time for everyone, a very difficult time for everyone in every respect, and I think it's probably over the last number of weeks and months that people have got to realise how much sport means, particularly in the GA and this county. So it's great that we're back. It's great that we're on a positive note. The country is opening up, Kerry is opening up, tourists are coming back, and sport is a huge part to play in everything, including the economy. And I'm delighted that the GA have acted in the manner they have. They've dealt with it, in my opinion, quite proactively, and there's a good roadmap there now at all levels, not least our own at club level, and in fairness, our own CCC here, chaired by Peter, have been exceptional. They've taken everybody's views on board, all our clubs we've engaged with over the last number of weeks, and I think we have a fixtures programme we can be proud of now, and I think it's fairly reflective of Kerry and what we expect of Kerry, both in football and hurling.
And Tim, personally, the past couple of weeks especially, what has the job been like? You're in, I suppose, ground that no county chairman ever had to manage the county in that regard. So what has it been like over the past few weeks?
Yeah, it's been quite a different experience, I suppose, Eamon. Normally this time of the year we'd be very busy with the county teams, whether it's football or hurling at all the different age groups, county leagues. It'd be well underway. You'd have. I suppose this time it was just shut down. But it was quite a different experience insofar as the role of chairman was quite different. It started off possibly with the role the GA were playing as part of the county-wide COVID-19 response led by Kerry County Council. So that actually took quite a lot of time up in terms of coordinating everything and engaging with the clubs. And it must be said, Eamon, tonight again, that the clubs deserve huge credit, particularly in Kerry, and it's been acknowledged, I think, nationally by the Uachtaráin and indeed by the county manager, Myra Murrell, as well as to the role that Kerry GA clubs played in combating COVID-19, and the response to that issue all over the county has been just incredible. But it's been a very unique experience. But I think what it has proven is how strong we are as an organisation, not only nationally, but I think particularly in Kerry. And, I think we can all be very proud of the response, particularly from our clubs at local level. The level of volunteerism that has pervaded the whole of society over the last number of weeks and months is incredible.
And Tim, look, we're here for the Garvey Super Value Senior County Football and Hurling Championships. I suppose that name, Garvey Super Value, it's become synonymous with Gaelic football here in the county over the past couple of years. And again, so many businesses have gone through some tough times, but the Garvey's family and Garvey Super Value are here to support Kerry GA once again.
Without question. And in fairness, Eamon, I think, as you rightly have pointed out, given the fact of what we've gone through, given the difficulties businesses have been, in terms of the challenges that they have found themselves trying to deal with, the Garvey Group never they never quivered. They were always and have been incredible sponsors of Kerry. Tonight, where Kevin is here representing the group, and Tomas and Jim have been incredible sponsors over many years, and I need to acknowledge that particularly tonight, because I suppose it's easy for us to say the county championships are going ahead, but these things don't happen without the sponsorship and without the support of businesses. And we're very lucky in Kerry to have someone like the Garvey Group. They're an indigenous company. They're so rooted in the GA. They're so rooted in community, and we're very fortunate that they have and continue to support Kerry in such a huge way. And I need to acknowledge that publicly again tonight, and we're very grateful. to them for all that. So thank you, Kevin.
And Tim, that leads on nicely. Kevin McCarthy, Managing Director of the Garvey Group. I suppose, look, this isn't your first time in here, but it's a strange situation over the past few months for the Garvey Group.
It has, Eamon, like all businesses, I mean, look, everyone's life's been turned upside down. I know we've a new normal now, but we've gone through 3 or 4 months of, nothing could prepare any of us for it, be it business or be it sport or anything in it. And no difference to us in the business. Obviously, we were trading right through it in our supermarkets. And talking to Tim there, and you're asking about the important part of GA played, we saw it firsthand when the GA clubs came around and started volunteering and doing shopping and delivering shopping out to people who are cocooning. That just shows the close-knit of community and how important community is. It goes back to when people are in need to turn to the GA, and it was incredible. And certainly I saw it firsthand, as I say, when they're doing shopping and take it out in vans on their own time, volunteering, in very tough circumstances, and so it's a credit to them. So we were just delighted from a Garvey point of view to be associated and thrilled that the championship was going ahead this year, and a great credit to Peter and Tim and everyone involved in GA for putting it on, because, it was a tough call, a close call, and we're just thrilled for everybody because it was sadly hugely missed in every community. The GA would see the pitches closed, hugely missed. So it's great to be going ahead.
A link between maybe clubs and communities in Kerry and a link with the Garvey Group as well.
Oh yeah, and it's amazing how you didn't have to ask twice. Every GA club, I know my own out in Churchill, they were on straight away. What can we deliver to the same back in West Kerry? And I have no doubt it was all over the county and all over the country. The GA is just a massive organisation.
And Kevin, Garvey Group has been involved with Kerry GA now for a number of years. It's synonymous with the Senior County Championship. And what makes that connection so strong?
I think, again, it goes back to community, and the sense of community and being local and being loyal to the local community. We've got great support from local community throughout the years, and it's great to be able to give it back. And that's what it is. It's, hand in hand, we're part of the community. It's all about being local. Now more than ever, the business community need the local community to support them. Every small business that's opening up, be it the hairdressers or coffee shops this week, they rely on that local support. And, it's like us in Garvey, so if we can play our part in that, we're just delighted to be able to do so.
And I know it's something the Garvey family they take great pride in being associated with the Senior County Football and Hurling Championships.
Oh yeah, look, I mean, Tomas leads the way there. He's the moral focus of us in the business. But certainly the GA and football and hurling, are primarily part and parcel of that. So they'll be listening to the draw as well now to see who they get back west tonight.
Yeah, I know Jim Garvey, he's involved with Dingle, so being a West Kerry man, I'd really love to get Dingle, but look, we'll maybe save that for the reaction. Tim Murphy, look, we're going to go to draw in a couple of minutes. But I suppose, look, if there was a message to the clubs and to the management of teams around the county who've had a tough couple of months, it was tough passing Gaelic football fields over the past few months and seeing gates closed. But teams, they're now back on. If there was a message you as county chair could give to players and management, what would that be?
Absolutely, Eamon. Firstly, to acknowledge this, the difficulties that the clubs went through and that they faced, especially in a rural county like Kerry, where and I've said this in the past, where the local GA pitch was probably the only amenity, perhaps for a lot of people, even in terms of walking around the walkways around them. So my message tonight would be, first of all, to say thanks. Again, I can't reiterate that enough, to say thanks to all the clubs, to the chairpersons, secretaries, all the officers, all the volunteers at all levels who have, as Kevin has pointed out, who have done deliveries, whether it's from the supermarket or a pharmacy or whatever. But not only did it at the start, Eamon, but continue to right up to, I think, last week. They were, calling in on the elderly, vulnerable people. So what I'd say is a huge thanks for that. A huge thanks for playing the part of, I suppose, leaders in their own communities, in terms of adhering to the guidelines that were set up by government. A huge thanks for that. And tonight, hopefully, is the beginning of a new dawn and a new era, and in terms of getting back playing football and hurling. And I think that's really what everybody at club level want, and tonight is that. So thanks for everything that everybody has done, and thanks for being such a part of the response that we've had in Kerry. And look, tonight, I think, is about looking forward now tonight, I think, with confidence.
Indeed, that's super well said, Tim. And if you're online this evening, you can check out Kerry GA. They're live on Facebook, and we're also live on YouTube. Just type in Radio Kerry. We're going to go for a short break, but after that break, we'll find out the 16 teams who are in the race, I suppose, in the battle for the Bishop Moynihan. We'll see who they'll play in round 1 of the championship. Back after this short break.
You're listening to Terrace Talk on Radio Kerry. Winner of the McNamee Award for Best GAA Programme in the country.
Welcome back to the show. Eamon Hickson here with you up until 8 o'clock this evening. Now it's time for the Garvey Super Value County Senior Football Championship draw. And before we get to it, Peter Twist, Secretary of the County Committee, you're welcome to Terrace Talk. You might run through, I suppose, maybe the logistics of the whole thing.
Well, it's very easy. There are 16 teams and a straight knockout, so the math says 4 rounds, and obviously the first round is the one. There's 8 versus 8, so it's a knockout and it's result on the day, so it couldn't be as more cutthroat than that.
Lovely. And result on the day, does that extra time penalties?
Extra time penalties, everything all the way, so it really will add to the whole thing anyway, and I maybe throw back to older times when it was one day out and that was it, so it'll be brilliant.
Oh, fantastic. So we'll go to the draw and then we'll have a chat about fixtures. Just one other thing, Peter. Kinmare District, are they taking part this year?
No, Kinmare District have withdrawn, and they withdrew earlier actually at the start of the year. It's just there would be kind of maybe low numbers this year with Kinmare Shamrocks and Timpenog on senior, so it's just to be our 16 this year.
16, lovely. You might just run through the teams there, Peter.
I will. So it's East Kerry, the defending champions, Dr. Croke, South Kerry, Austin Stacks, Mid Kerry, Kilcommon, St. Brendan's Board, Killarney Legion, Shannon Rangers, Cairns O'Reilly's, Field Rangers, Timpenog, St. Kieran's, Kinmare Shamrocks, West Kerry and Dingle.
Super. So we'll get to it. We have Tim Murphy, Kerry GA Chairman, and Kevin McCarthy, MD of the Garvey Group, doing the draw. So all the teams are in the hat, 16 teams in. Kevin, we might let you go first.
The first team out are Mid Kerry.
Mid Kerry. Lovely. Tim.
Mid Kerry play Kilcommon.
Kilcommon, divisional side and a club side. Mid Kerry versus Kilcommon. Okay, Kevin.
Field Rangers.
Field Rangers. And they will play
East Kerry.
East Kerry, the champions. So Field Rangers versus East Kerry. Back to Kevin. Dingle. Jim Garvey is getting nervous.
Play Timpenog.
Timpenog. So Dingle versus Timpenog.
St. Kieran's.
St. Kieran's. And St. Kieran's will play
South Kerry.
South Kerry. 2 divisional sides up against each other there. Team number 9.
Kinmare Shamrocks.
Kinmare Shamrocks, the club side. It's the 5th tie of the first round.
Shannon Rangers.
Shannon Rangers. Club versus a district. Back to Kevin again. 6 teams left.
Killarney Legion.
Killarney Legion. Finalists a couple of years ago.
Cairns O'Reilly's.
Cairns O'Reilly's. Killarney versus Tralee. 4 teams left.
Dr. Croke's.
The Killarney Kingpins. And if they will play
Austin Stacks.
Austin's, another Tralee and Killarney one.
He takes there.
2 teams left.
My own St. Brendan's.
I think Kevin and I are going to have a fight now in a minute. St. Brendan's will play.
Yeah. West Kerry. Super, that's 16 teams, 8 draws. Peter Twist, you might run through those for us.
Yeah, absolutely brilliant. Mid Kerry play Kilcommon, Field Rangers play East Kerry, Dingle play Timpenog, St. Kieran's versus South Kerry, Kenmare Shamrocks play Shannon Rangers. Killarney Legion play Cairns O'Reilly's. Dr. Crokes versus Austin Stacks. And St. Brendan's versus West Kerry.
Wow, so that's the first round straight knockout. In terms of venues and dates, Peter?
So the date will be the weekend of the 23rd of August, Eamon, and the venues will be decided by the CCC, so we'll have a look at the venues. There's no real advantage to be drawn first or second, to be just purely on the CCC's call this time. And
do you think it'll be double headers? Is it hard to say just in relation to COVID-19 restrictions?
We hope to have double headers, but we will be very much guided by the guidelines, so that would be the idea, is that we'd have the double headers on the big grounds.
Yes. Oh yeah, and will it be in the coming days, do you think the CCC will decide?
I'd say we might pause for a week or two just to make sure we have everything covered from a health and safety point of view and everything like that.
Lovely. So, Kevin, look, I'll go to you first. It's St. Brendan's versus West Kerry. So, look, we might have an old argument after about this. But what stands out for you there, Kevin?
Look, I suppose Austin Stacks and Dr. Crokes, the local team here on the Rock will say that they've hit them a few years, and but look, that'll be a great tie.
Yeah. It's probably the standout tie of those. And I suppose looking at Killarney and Tralee won just before that, Killarney Legion and Cairns O'Reilly's. Some of these teams will be quite familiar with each other, not just from the County League but from the Senior Club Championship just before that.
They will, but I think the Killarney Tralee thing again will make that rivalry even more. So it's great. I mean, I think it's a super draw.
Super. And East Kerry, the current champions, they're up against Field Rangers.
Yeah, Field Rangers won like that one, I suppose, but someone had to get them.
Indeed. Tim Murphy, what obviously the Crokes and Austin Stacks stands out for you? I suppose, look, that is the big one of the first round.
Yeah, I think as club teams, it's like Kevin said, it's two big club teams meeting in the first round. Probably the other one, Eamon, for me, are St. Kieran's and South Kerry. I know that my own district, St. Kieran's, have been improving quite a lot over the last number of years, and they're a team that are coming. So the knockout, I think, element of it is going to provide huge interest.
And you mentioned St. Kieran's there, Tim. South Kerry seem to be the divisional side that can just get it together. They might be playing each other in County League the previous week, but there's something about County Championship for South Kerry. And if there was a second side, St. Kieran's seemed to be able to get it together as well. What's it out there?
Yeah, there's certainly a good tradition of County Championship in St. Kieran's and the whole Castle Island. Greater Castle Island district, I suppose, and so I definitely feel that St. Kieran's, they've actually quality footballers, and look, it's probably in a more even keel this year with everyone is in the same boat in terms of preparation. So who knows? They might get a run.
If everyone wants to put on your headphones, we're going to get some reaction, and with me on the line, I have the manager of East Kerry, Jerry O'Sullivan. You're very welcome to Terrace Talk.
Eamon, how are you keeping?
Very well. So, Field Rangers in the first round, what do you think of that draw?
Yeah, look, in the draw in the County Championship, Eamon, is going to be a tough draw, and I suppose this year more than ever, with it being knockout football from the very word go, it's going to make it very interesting from the very start.
And Jerry, this year I suppose the timeline is quite condensed. We've got club championships starting end of July and going into August, and then you have a week off when I suppose maybe a chance to get East Kerry together. So do you think it'll work against some divisional sides, this small condensed timeline?
Yeah, I suppose from last year, it will be a little bit more difficult, especially given the time constraints with the club championship coming on stream first. But fair play to the county board, I suppose, and the CCC. Like, they've done a good job in putting the fixtures out there together. It's going to be the same for everyone involved. I suppose. Look, club teams will have that slight little bit advantage from the point of view they'll have a bit more preparation. But look, we'll be leaving our guys. We'll be playing with our clubs. We have. We've clubs outside here in East Kerry that will hopefully be challenging for the intermediate and the Premier Juniors. So, look, they'll be with their clubs, and when they're finished with their clubs, then we'll have them for 2 weeks before the first round.
Yeah,
so,
and
look, it's going to be the same for everyone, I suppose.
And I suppose, Jerry, from maybe a divisional side point of view, maybe it was a little bit better to draw another divisional side because you'll both be in the same boat.
Yeah, I suppose. Look, Field Rangers are going to be in the same boat as us. They'll have teams out there now, Kerry as well, challenging for the Premier Junior and Intermediate Championship. So, look, they're going to be in the same boat. Like, you'll be expecting every player coming into the districts. They'll be up to speed fitness wise, like, and it's just about look, and you know yourself, like with divisional sides, it's all on the day, and I mean district sides need to get a small bit of a run to build up a bit of steam. So whoever will come out of our match, Field Rangers or East Kerry, like, you know, it'll stand them in good stead, like for the next round, which is the quarter final.
And something which divisional sides, I suppose, maybe used to their advantage in recent years was the back door, but no back door this year. If you lose, you're out. So a bit more pressure this year, Jerry.
Yeah, definitely. I suppose. Look, if I'd have any qualms about the way the championship has been run, I'd like to see a losers round in the championship begin, the senior county championship. You know, it's been great the last couple of years. The games have been very interesting. It's given every team, and I suppose the second bite of the cherry. We needed it last year when we played Brendan's. But look, we're just glad to be playing football. I suppose 2 months ago, a month ago even, you'd say to yourself, like, would we have football this year? And look, we have, and we got to make the most of it. And look, it's going to make it interesting. It's knockout football. It's what I was used to kind of when I was playing. Like, so, look, it'll be interesting for everyone, and hopefully people will be able to come to the games and be able to enjoy the football.
Indeed, Jerry. And do you expect to have Rathmore with you this year as well, making you a little bit stronger?
Yeah, I suppose. Yeah, Rathmore will be with us this year. Again, yeah, make us like they'll add a different bite. They'll add a few players there. But look, I suppose it's hopefully that everyone will get through their own club championships without injury, and that when we get the lads together, that we'll be picking from a full panel. That's our aim now, and hopefully, like, you never know, like, we're going to take it one game at a time. The game always Field Rangers, and that's the one that I'll be concentrating on between here and the 23rd of August.
Indeed.
Yeah.
And Jerry, I suppose maybe the addition of some Rathmore players might be the spark you need. You know, maybe second season syndrome. You know, keep the hunger up. Yeah,
definitely. Look. Every time that you win, or every time that you win, you need to kind of change something up a small little bit. You need to freshen it up. That's what we've done kind of every year. Like, we've made one or two little changes every year. They've seemed to work. The change this year is Rathmore boys are going to be inside with us. And look, it's definitely going to make it interesting. Like, potentially, like there's 8 to 9 teams that can win the senior county championship in Kerry. Like, you're looking at the draws there. Like, there's some tough draws. So, like, it's there for anyone to win. Like, in this year, being knockout, it's one game championship every game at a time. So anyone has the potential to win it.
Indeed. And finally, Jerry, you might have heard Peter Twist say it's result on today, which could mean penalties. So will David Clifford and the likes be practising penalties over in East Kerry in a couple of weeks?
Yeah, look, I wouldn't be in favour of the penalties now myself, to be fair. I hope that no team has to go to that. I hope that it doesn't have to go to that, to be fair. I think that if the result if there's a draw after full time, that there will be a result after extra time rather than going to penalties. But look, we won't be practising penalties. It's not. We'll have enough to be doing besides practising penalties, I think.
To try when it's normal time, I suppose. Jerry, thank you so much for joining us, and best luck when the championship gets going.
Yeah, cheers, Eamon. Thanks for it.
As Jerry O'Sullivan, Forestman manager of East Kerry, and also on the line we have regular Terrace Talk panellist John Kennedy. John, very welcome to Terrace Talk.
Thanks, Eamon.
What do you think of that draw? And look, I know we discussed Field Rangers and East Kerry, but your own Shannon Rangers against Kenmare Shamrocks.
Yeah, Eamon, it's an interesting draw. There's some mouth-watering clashes there, and I suppose Shannon Rangers will be. They're a team that have disappointed over the last number of years and maybe haven't reaped the potential that they have. And Kenmare Shamrocks, a club team, they'll be looking at that, I think, as a game that they can win. And I think there's a level playing field this year. With as the lads have said there, the preparation will be the same for most teams, and they'll be hoping they'll come through the club championship games without any injuries and have a full squad to pick from when the county senior championship does start on August 23rd.
And John, what other games stand out for you?
I suppose, look, Dr. Crokes and Aston Stacks is certainly one of the standout games. Again, Killarney Legion and Kelms O'Reilly's two club teams that Legion have made great strides winning the Journal Cup last season, and Rahilly's, a lot of potential. That's another mouth-watering clash. And St. Kieran's South Kerry's team, Murphy already said St. Kieran's are a team that could be the dark horses in the championship, and South Kerry are also always a great championship team. So there's some fantastic games and prospect there, and I think everybody's looking forward to it. And I suppose get back on the playing field is the most important thing. It's going to be a championship with a difference. It's knockout, it's result in the day, which is different from the last number of years. And maybe that bit of bite when you have to win. It could just lend to more competitive games, and when you have to win on the day, results count, and that's what it's all about.
Indeed. And John, you mentioned St. Kieran's and South Kerry, and I know I touched on it already, but there's something that those two divisional sides seem to have. They're able to get it together very quickly. What is it, especially with South Kerry? They're probably the strongest divisional side over the past couple of years.
Yeah, it's amazing. I mean, a lot has been said about divisional teams over the last number of years and how difficult it can be. And we've seen what East Kerry have done and South Kerry in particular over the last 15 or 20 years. When they come very strong, and they tend to be there for a number of years. But South Kerry, they're an amazing team. They're hugely competitive down below in the south, but they're like a club team when they come out, and they play for one another. They're a real close-knit group, and they really perform well. And of course, the likes of Brian Sheehan and Declan and those lads over the last number of years, Killian Young, they have been tremendous leaders for them. And you need leaders in county championship. And likewise with St. Kieran's, they have some fantastic footballers. They really knit well together, and it's always about the first round. When a divisional team gets over the first round, the momentum gathers, and they can just get it going, and numbers increase in training, and it kind of takes off.
Indeed. And finally, John, I suppose, look, we were listening to Jerry O'Sullivan there. East Kerry, with the addition of Rathmore, I suppose, look, they'll be the ones to beat again.
Look, they're the team to beat. They were a fantastic outfit last year. Huge talent. Rathmore, obviously, is probably a headache for the management team. The number of players Rathmore would have, it's even making it more competitive. Obviously, they're the firm favourites, but there's a lot of teams in there. Dr. Crokes, St. Kieran's, South Kerry, Austin Stacks, St. Brendan's again, a team that made great strides last year.
Yeah.
I mean, your own West Kerry. It's very difficult, but East Kerry will be the favourites. And on that, isn't it great to be back playing? And I'd like to pay tribute to Tim and Peter, and the county board for the way they've handled things there. I was actually on a Zoom meeting a few weeks ago as part of the management team in SD. Really professional. The information is out there. There's nobody wondering what if or what is. It's there for everybody. The emails are coming out, and now it's nearly ready to get back on the playing fields, and we're all looking forward to it. It will be different, but isn't it great to get out playing football? And does winning and losing really matter at the end of the day? It's about getting out, doing what we like.
Indeed. Here, John, that's very well said. John, thank you so much for that.
No bother, Emmett.
That's John Kennedy at Terrace Talk, a panellist, just reviewing that. And before we go to the break, Peter Twist, you might just give a quick rundown on that draw for anyone just tuning in a small bit late.
Okay, so so it's Mid Kerry versus Kilcommon, Field Rangers versus East Kerry, Dingle versus Timpano, which is the game that stands out for me, St. Kieran's versus South Kerry, Kinmare Shamrocks versus Shannon Rangers, Killarney Legion versus Kansas Rallies, Dr. Crokes versus Austin Stacks, and St. Brendan's versus West Kerry.
That's super, Peter. Thanks for that. And you just got a text in. Come on, lads, bring on the hurling, or is it only football county? That came from Jim. Jim, we'll get to the hurling right after this short break.
You're listening to Terrace Talk on Radio Kerry. Winner of the McNamee Award for Best GAA Programme in the country.
You're welcome back to Terrace Talk. Eamon Hickson here with you up until 8 o'clock this evening, and we've already done the Garvey Super Value County Senior Football Championship draw. Now it's the time for the hurling, and Peter Twist, Secretary of the County Committee. Peter, you might run through the teams that are involved in the hurling draw.
Yeah, so it's eight teams. Causeway, reigning defending champions Causeway, Lixna, Ballyduff, Ballyhigh, Crouch O'Neill, St. Brendan's Outford, Kilmiley and Abbeydorney.
Super. And you might tell us that's a straight knockout as well.
Straight knockout again, result on the day, and the first round is the weekend of the 16th of August.
Fantastic, that's super. And for those listening in, you can also check us out. We're on YouTube. Just type in Radio Kerry Live and Kerry J Facebook. We're live both there. So if you want to watch and listen, you can check in on that. So doing the draw for the Garvey Super Value County Senior Hurling Championship, we have Kevin McCarthy, MD of Garvey Group, and Tim Murphy, Kerry J Chairman. So Kevin, we'll let you do the honours first.
Okay. First team out is Lixnaw.
Lixnaw. They will play
Abidorney.
Lixnaw versus Abidorney.
Ballyhaig.
We'll play Ballyduff.
Ballyhaig playing Ballyduff. Kevin will draw fifth team.
Fifth team out are St. Brendan's.
St. Brendan's are first. And they will play
Kilmoyley.
Nice local one. Final two teams.
Causeway,
defending champions.
Cross O'Neills.
Super. So, Peter Twist, you might run through that there.
Yes, Lixnaw versus Abidorney, Ballyhaig versus Ballyduff, St. Brendan's Arford versus Kilmoyley, and Causeway versus Cross O'Neills.
Yeah, so I suppose, Peter, the one that stands out is the defending champions Causeway against Crotta.
Well, there's two that stands out in the way I'm looking at it.
Local derby as well.
Yeah, Causeway and Crotta, yeah, but St. Brendan's Arford and Kilmoyley, it stands a bit as well. It's a local derby.
They know each other quite well. What do you think of that draw there, Kevin?
Yeah, again, like it's exciting. I think, as I said, that those two clashes are definitely mouth-watering. I think Lixnaw and Abidorney will have a good battle as well, you know. And then you have the two Ballys, Ballyhaig and Ballyduff. You know, there'll be nothing held back there either.
Indeed. Tim Murphy, what do you think of that? I know the Kilmoyley and St. Brendan's one stands out.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think, you know, it needs to be said that the Kerry County Hurling Championship as a competition has, you know, surpassed so many other counties or other counties within Munster over the last number of years in terms of the interest and the crowds that have attended. So, you know, it's added again now by this whole knockout championship. The fact that I think that the CCC gave a little bit of a run in to all the hurling teams in terms of the North Kerry Championship. So, you know, it's good from that perspective that there's an element of preparation as well. So it's exciting all around, I think, absolutely.
And, you know, Tim, you touched on it, but there is such fever and atmosphere at a lot of hurling, county senior hurling championship games. You know, some of the finals, there are huge attendances above, and you know, even sitting inside in the stand, you can feel the intensity from the pitch.
Absolutely, and we've had some unbelievable games over the last number of years, and you know, they've been commented upon to me by people from other counties that have come down, you know, watching the game. I think it has a big reach far outside of Kerry. You know, you'd have a crowd of followers coming from Limerick, you know, some people from Tipperary, even from Cork. You know, it has, the Kerry County Hurling Championship has and always will be, I think, a very unique place in the GA and the county. And
unfortunately this year we couldn't do the Christy Ring format, but I suppose, look, it's still a huge competition, and a bit like the football, there's a trapdoor. You lose the first game, you're gone.
That's it. And I think you know, that's the background to the whole, even at national level, and I think, you know, that's part of the rules of engagement for this year. So it's good to get, I suppose, a different perspective, and we can all look forward to that as well. It's going to be a different norm for all of us.
Indeed. And Peter Twist, I suppose, in terms of fixtures and times and venues, that's a bit like the football, that'll be decided at a later date.
Yes, but the hurling matches always tend to be in Austin Stack Park, so that probably will continue. There's a great tradition there. So, but we'll just look at that as well in light as well with the football.
I know that'll help with if there's any social distancing to be required and things like that.
Yes, to see the issue with social is interesting. Like, so you might have to be looking at the bigger stadiums, you know, for certain games. So, but traditionally the hurling is always in Austin Stack Park, so I can't see that changing.
Super, thanks for that, Peter. And look, we'll get a bit of reaction with us on the line with Mike Kelleher, chairperson of Lixnaw. Mike, you're very welcome to Terrace Talk.
Hello, Eamon. Hello to everybody there.
How are you doing? And look, you're on Lixnaw. You have Abidorney in the first round. What do you think of the draw?
Every draw is tricky when it's a knockout championship. The 8 clubs there, every one of them is training to win a championship this year. So every draw is tricky. I wouldn't know. Obviously, I suppose nobody would want to meet the champions, but yeah, every draw is tricky.
Indeed. And I know, look, we've kind of highlighted the one that stands out with St. Brendan's and Kilmoyley. What do you think of that?
Yeah, that'll be interesting now, that one, of course, because there's always a good battle between those two teams there, and that won't change this year, I'd say.
Indeed. And I suppose, look, obviously you'll be fancying yourselves to go all the way, and how's preparation going the last couple of weeks, since training, pitches opened up and everything like that?
It's not so bad. Not ideal, of course, but at the start of the year we didn't think we would have anything, so it's great to be doing something now. We could do with more time, of course, but that's the way it is now, and we'll have to just get on with it.
Yeah, indeed. And I suppose, look, a lot of the players, while they haven't been out on the pitch for the past few months, I suppose they've been trying to keep the touch up at home and all that.
Yeah, they have, no fairness, and Fergus and the management team have been keeping in touch with them the whole time. They've done a great job, really, and everyone is delighted now to be back on grass again training.
That's super. Mike, thank you so much for joining us. We appreciate it.
Thanks, Simon. Thank you.
That's great. That's Mike Keller, chairperson of Lixnaw. And if you want to get in touch, give us a text 083 300 3300. Also on WhatsApp and on various social media. And we're also live on YouTube. Just type in Radio Kerry. You just give us your reaction to the football and hurling draws. And Peter Twist, before we go for a quick break, you might just run through the hurling draw again.
Okay, so it's Lixnaw versus Abbeydourney, Ballyhaig versus Ballyduff, St Brendan's Arfert versus Kilmiley, and Causeway versus Crash O'Neill's.
That's super. So that's the Garvey Super Value 2020 Senior Hurling Championship Round 1 draw. Lots more after this short break.
Terrace Talk on Radio Kerry. McNamee Award winner for Ireland's best GAA programme.
You're welcome back to the show. We're after doing the Garvey Super Value 2020 Senior Football and Hurling Championship Round 1 draws. And I just got a text in there on WhatsApp. This came from Noel. He goes, some tantalising draws in the first round of the county championships. I'm not a fan of penalty kicks in football, but time restraints dictate that option. If I was involved with the team, I would indeed prepare for penalties. And I think I'd be doing the same. If we have any say with West Kerry, we might practice a few penalties, see if we can beat Kevin McCarthy's St Brendan's. Look, with us on the line to look back at the hurling draw, we have Stephen Goggin, manager of Causeway. Stephen, you're welcome to Terrace Talk.
Thanks, Eamon. Thank you.
Look, there's no easy draw in North Kerry in the county championship hurling for round 1 draw, but you're after drawing Crash O'Neill's. What do you think of that draw?
Yeah, I suppose we hit the nail on the head there. There's no easy draw. When it comes to hurling in North Kerry, everyone on any given day can beat anyone. And I suppose that's why I saw that we love our championship, and that it's so exciting every year. No one knows what's going to happen in it, so whatever draw you get, it's going to be tough. There's no one going to give you an inch.
Stephen, what were the past few months like with the lockdown? And even being a player myself in terms of football, it was kind of hard to get out and kick the ball around the yard or whatever sport you're involved in. So how has it been for yourself and for the players the past few months?
Yeah, I suppose, look, it has been a weird year so far. I suppose we had an extended year last year, so we weren't back training till March, and I'd say we had only about 3 or 4 sessions done when the whole thing kind of stopped. And so it's been a weird year. And look, I suppose the main thing is that we're back, and at whatever form it is, we're delighted to be back,
Indeed. And look, you're going in as defending champions. Have you any tricks up your sleeve to get that hunger, maybe retain that hunger?
I don't know about tricks. I don't know about tricks, Eamon, but look, I suppose last year was fantastic for us. We won it after 21 years. There was great hunger there. You'd expect the boys to have the same kind of hunger again this year. But no one knows on any given day. Do you know what I mean? We'd know Crater fairly well because we'd have played against them. A lot of our young fellas would have played against them a lot of the way up in finals and tournament finals and stuff like that, so there won't be there's never much between us, and just looking forward to getting started and try and get a couple of matches under our belts with the Knocker Championship to give fellas runs out, any games and stuff like that, and just like I said, looking forward to getting back into the middle of it now.
Indeed, Stephen. And look, Stephen, you're neutral in terms of St Brendan's and Kilmiley. I suppose that'll be a real belter of a game. What way do you see that one going?
Yeah, that's going to be a real titanic battle between the two of them. All right, like us all, I suppose they're practically very beside each other. They're going into each other's parish and stuff like that. It's going to be tough. We played both of them last year, and Kilmiley were missing a few when we played them, and Arfert, to be fair to them, nearly pipped us in the county champs semi-final. So it's going to be hard to call. I don't know. I wouldn't put
be putting money in either of them. Do you know what I mean? There's not going to be much between them, like all games. You know?
Indeed, Joe, and Stephen, you touched on that. I know, look, you're involved with Causeway, but one of a number of teams, and only 8 teams in it, but like one of a huge number of teams can win this championship.
They can, I suppose. Like I was actually talking to a friend of mine there during the week about actually the hurling championship, and I suppose Ballyduff and Kilmiley have really dominated the championship in numbers wise, over the last 20 years. Now Lixna have really come into their own as well. So I suppose out of only having 8 teams, the 3 teams really have dominated. We won it last year. We hadn't won it in 21 years. Hartford won it in 13, I think, and they hadn't won it in 22 or 23 years as well. So them 3 teams are kind of the teams that really share it among themselves. But hopefully that the other few teams can get in the mix, and it'll make it for an exciting championship.
Indeed. Stephen, look, I appreciate you joining us this evening, and look, I know whatever strategies you have of keeping the hunger there, you won't tell us live on air anyway, but we might find out in the next couple of weeks.
Nothing too much in aim to tell.
Stephen, thanks so much for that.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Stephen Goggin, manager of Causeway, the defending champions, and Causeway have drawn Crotto O'Neill's, also Lixnaw versus Aberdorney, Ballyhaig versus Ballyduff, and St Brendan's versus Kilmiley. I was asking Tim Murphy earlier what his job was like the past few months, I suppose in these strange times, but I suppose Peter Twiss, I know you went through a few months of maybe there weren't too many fixtures to organise, but the past few weeks have been quite hectic.
Yeah, I live for fixtures, so yeah. I was lost completely. So it's fantastic to be back. It's amazing how into fixtures you would get, and the group of us that are into fixtures, we missed it terribly. Yeah. I suppose at the end of the day, the G is all about games, and it must have been, I really felt for the players. Yeah. Because I felt the players they're the people we all go to see, and especially maybe the younger players. I really felt, and I'm just so delighted that we're back for those especially.
Yeah, indeed. Yeah. And look, I know you, with your being involved as secretary, you were in charge of fixtures the last couple of years, and it must be said, and the Kerry County Board must be complimented, because even as a player, I remember when I started, you might have too many games during the summer, but that has changed in the past few years. In a way, would it be fair to say you kind of put your foot down?
That's one way of putting it. I think in fairness to Kerry, there was always pretty good fixtures. Ian and O'Sullivan and all those lads before me. So there was, but I think there's a great priority given to proper fixtures plan, and I think we're kind of close to the clubs ourselves, and we want to make sure we do a good package for the players, especially.
Indeed, yeah. And look, Peter mentions the players. Tim Murphy is someone that came to mind today, and it's on account of Pat Sheehy, the referee coordinator in the county, sending us a couple of guidelines for referees, and maybe David Goff in recent days. But everyone's on about players and communities, but the games can't go ahead without referees.
Absolutely, and I know no different to the CCC. We have a very active referees committee, and I know Pat is to the forefront in that. And perhaps the changes in the rules, Eamon, possibly has gone a little bit over everybody's head, because there was a few changes, significant changes passed at Congress in February, and they've been lost on most of us, I think, over the last 14 or 15 weeks for obvious reasons. So that's going to pose a challenge in itself. But again, I'd like to compliment Pat Sheehy and the whole referees committee in what they're doing, in being proactive. And I know you have a document there that we're going to share with all our clubs as well, because it's as much about educating our players, our managers, and all the staff or the backroom staff of the teams about the new rules change. So that's going to be a steep learning curve for everyone, I think.
Yeah, indeed. And you mentioned about clubs. There's a bit of a challenge in relation to COVID-19 and restrictions and changes for players and officials. But Kevin McCarthy, even going into your own shops over the past few months, the Garvey Group and the stores around the county, you to do a lot of changes as well.
Oh yeah, look, there's no one that's been touched by it, and the safety of customers and staff has been the priority. Yes, there's been huge safety, and I suppose we were learning for the first couple of weeks going into it. But I must thank all my staff and all people working with Garvey for the work they've done and everybody on the front line over the last 12 weeks. It's been tough, it's been challenging, but every one of them stood up shoulder to shoulder to the wheel, and we're really proud of them.
Yeah, and was that hard to get the Garvey team motivated to take on that challenge?
No, not at all. I mean, it was all about community spirit and local. It was like the volunteerism. What can I do? You know, people were coming into work, working long shifts, you know, in all the businesses, you know, and I think it just shows the character of the people and the local community and the local spirit and volunteerism that's out there. And great credit to everybody, you know, it was just incredible.
And look, as a sports fan, the hurling and football draws there, the Garvey Super Value Senior Football and Hurling Championship. There were a couple of great ones, so it's great to have the names attached to maybe some of the great derbies. We got Crokes and Austin Stacks. We have St. Brendan's and Kilmoyley. So great to have the Garvey's name attached to some of those.
Yeah, look, we're thrilled with it, you know. I mean, it's the premier event in the county, I think, every year, and we're just delighted to be associated with it.
That's super. Thanks for that, Kevin. Peter Twist, a couple of questions coming in just to put you under pressure. Hi, Eamon, can you ask Tim and Peter when the draw for the Intermediate Hurling Championship will take place?
So our CCC will meet now probably the week after next, so we might do the draw then. We just want to make sure that all the teams that we think will be playing are confirmed, so we just want to double check that.
Oh, super. And also we have a question about season tickets. Hi, Eamon, if Kerry get to the All-Ireland final, which would be great, will the season ticket holders get a ticket, as they say it'll only hold 30,000 in Grove Park? You might ask the lads from a Kerry fan.
Okay, well, I'll answer that as well. So the answer to that is, well, it's a Croke Park scheme, so really it would be for Croke Park to make the call on that. I presume what Croke Park will do is they'll stall until they get definition or clear definition on the crowds that are allowed. So it'll either be what they'll do then, it'll be up to them. So it's really a matter for Croke Park. It wouldn't be for any county board as such, you know.
And in terms of the county championship, and I know, look, maybe closer to the date we'll find out if there are double headers and social distancing rules, but I suppose, have clubs come back to you in relation to their own COVID restrictions and what measures they must take ahead of their own club championship games?
Yeah, well, in fairness to the chairman, he put Liam Lynch and Joe Crowley, our officers, they kind of were, you know, kind of coordinating, I suppose, with the clubs in Kerry, and they did a super job over the last couple of weeks. Fair play to them. So, to be fair, the clubs, as far as I can tell, are very well tuned in, and it's great to hear that. And I think credit to the two lads there and the development committee. They were proactive. And again, I suppose it's all about communicating the message to the people, isn't it?
Indeed. And also something which we, even ourselves back down the Skull, trying to bring your own water bottles and something simple like that. You know, you're given so many instructions, and I do know Kerry J have been very vocal in that. So I suppose, look, finally, Tim Murphy, some great games there, and I suppose you'll be looking forward to them as a neutral, maybe.
Yeah, as a neutral in most of the games.
Most of the games, bar one.
Eamon, so, look, I think, like I said at the start, our games are the envy of most counties, our county championships, but football and hurling are the envy of most counties. And again, look, this is a new dimension, and it's an added dimension, I think, and we should probably relish it and not be afraid of it. And, you know, let it go where it goes, and I think it'll be history making in so many ways, and we can maybe, all going well, please God, everything will stay on track, and we can look back in it in a year's time and say, yeah,
super.
Whoa.
That's it.
Yeah.
Tim Murphy, thank you so much. Tim Murphy, Kerry J Chairman. I was joined by Kevin McCarthy, MD of the Garvey Group, and Peter Twist, Secretary of the County Committee, and Aileen Foley, who helped out on Kerry J Facebook. If you want to check the Garvey Super Value County Senior Football and Hurling Championship draws, just check on Twitter, Terrace Talk, RK. Both draws are up there also on Kerry J. So for me, Eamon Hickson, Mark Nolan helped produce. He was also on sound. Thanks for listening. Join you next week.